Eric Clapton, I Shot the Sheriff, originally written by Bob Marley. Music on the way, Madonna, Robert John, and B.J. Thomas. Plus, news on the show, Wife Swap. It can be seen on Spectrum on Wednesday nights. Plus, the ski report for France and Switzerland. They'll have that right after the AP Network News. It's McFadden and Whitehead. Ain't no stopping us now. On the Power Network, it's Connections.
There's been so many things that's held us down, but now it looks like things are finally coming around. I know we've got a long, long way to go, and where we'll end up, I don't know. But we won't let nothing hold us back. We're putting ourselves together, we're polishing up our act. And if you've never been held down before, I know you refuse to be held down anymore. Well, don't you let nothing stand in your way. I want y'all to listen to every word I say, every word I say. Ain't no stopping us now. We're running up. Ain't no stopping us now. We got to do. Ain't no stopping us now. We're running up. I know. Ain't no stopping us now. We got the group. We got it. I know you know someone that has a negative vibe. And if you're trying to make it, they only push you aside. They really don't have nowhere to go. Ask them where they're going, they don't know. But we won't let nothing hold us back. We're gonna put our show together, gonna polish up our act. Well, and if you've never been held down before, I know you refuse to be held down anymore. Don't you let nothing stand in your way. I want y'all to listen to every word I say, every word I say. No. We're moving, we're grooving.
This is AFN.
AP Radio News. I'm Tim McGuire. No rookies in this mob. Early bird shopping means a crush to get in and the rush to snatch up the bargains. Ed Wilson braved the morning chill and a big crowd at the Pennies in Raleigh, North Carolina because of the low prices.
Sales, sales, sales. Here you got, 50% off, then an extra 10% off. And my wife is a shopaholic. I just come out here with her and you can't beat it.
It's the same for these shoppers in La Crosse, Wisconsin.
Can I tell? He's getting a laptop, and he's getting a desktop, and he's getting a TV, and he's getting 2 digital cameras.
And a DVD player, and a monitor.
Retailers are hoping millions will open their purses and wallets this shopping season. Retail consultant Jay McIntosh with Ernst & Young says higher fuel costs will not stop more well-off consumers from spending this year.
If you look at some of the indicators like that, you would expect sales increase perhaps not to be so robust. But our analysis shows it's the more affluent consumer that's driving retail sales. and they're less affected by the higher gasoline prices.
The U.S. military says an American soldier was killed yesterday in an accident involving his tank just south of Baghdad. 2 other soldiers died in a roadside bombing. They had the Thanksgiving turkey and all the fixings. Many were able to contact friends and family back in the States, but most soldiers in Iraq had a bittersweet holiday. Lieutenant Colonel Guy Glad, a chaplain, says the big meal and downtime don't replace what most want.
Thanksgiving for a lot of soldiers means home.
A key witness against Saddam Hussein is dead, but prosecutors say it will not have a big effect on the case. We have more on the story from the AP's Melissa Gray.
A prosecutor in the trial says the witness died of cancer late last month, 4 days after giving testimony from his hospital bed. Wada Ismail al-Sheikh was a senior Iraqi intelligence officer at the time of the 1982 massacre Saddam is being tried for. A prosecutor says his testimony was on the side of the victims. Melissa Gray, Baghdad.
This is AP Radio News. Federal investigators want to know why a commuter train plowed into several vehicles at a backed-up intersection Friday outside Chicago. Acting National Transportation Safety Board Chairman Mark Rosenker says the cars may have become stuck on the train track with nowhere to go when the train came barreling through.
It appears that we had gridlock on that grade crossing, and that's what concerns us a great deal.
16 people were hurt in that crash on Wednesday. Delta, the season's 25th named tropical storm, meandering way out in the Atlantic. National Hurricane Center meteorologist Jack Bevins says they are rewriting the history books.
The records have been broken this year, too numerous to mention at the present time. We're trying to put a list together ourselves.
Delta weakened a bit overnight. Top sustained winds now 65 miles an hour. 2 sisters out of the hospital after being showered with debris when one of those giant balloons in the Macy's parade in New York snagged a streetlight. An 11-year-old needed 9 stitches. Her 26-year-old sister had bruises. Tim McGuire, AP Radio News.
Sporting News Flash. I'm Bill Leckis. By this time tomorrow, the Lions may have a new head coach. According to reports in the Detroit Free Press and WBJK-TV, Steve Mariucci could be fired by as early as today. This after the Falcons blew out the Lions on Thanksgiving 27-7. For Atlanta, Michael Vick and Algie Crumpler hooked up for 2 scores. In overtime, Broncos topped the Cowboys 24-21. Ron Dane's 55-yard run on OT set up Jason Elam's game-winning 24-yard field goal. Head coach Mike Shanahan said it was a nice victory in a tough environment.
You feel very good. You go on the road and you have a couple turnovers and you make some mistakes and you keep on fighting and find a way to win. It's a lot about the guys. It wasn't easy. Dallas had a lot to do with those mistakes and those turnovers. But we kept on fighting and made the plays when they had to make them.
Dane had 98 yards rushing and a touchdown on just 7 carries. College football, the Backyard Bowl, 12th ranked West Virginia whipped Pittsburgh 45-13. Akron 35, Kent State 3. The Zips advanced to the MAC championship game. NBA, Pacers routed the Cavaliers 98-76 and Lakers 108, Sonics 96. Kobe Bryant scored 29 of his 34 points in the final 18 minutes. NHL, Rangers iced the Thrashers 6-3. Jaromir Jagr with his league-leading 21st goal. Predators 4, Kings 3, and Canucks over the Sharks 3-2. The president of the World Anti-Doping Agency said in an interview with the London Free Press he suspects as many as a third of the NHL's 700 players may take some form of performance-enhancing substances. Marlins finalized their 2 trades yesterday with Carlos Delgado going to the New York Mets, and also Josh Beckett, Mike Lowell, and reliever Guillermo Mota added to Boston for 4 prospects. The Sporting News Flash is brought to you by Dish Planet. Cable? You got to be kidding me. You get so much more for your money with satellite TV, and America's satellite TV experts can help you switch right now. Call Dish Planet at 1-800-937-3820. Cut the cable. Call Dish Planet. I'm Bill Leckis.
The music takes you back. The reports keep you grounded. Connections on the Power Net.
I do. If you choose to, you can live your life alone. Some people choose the city, some of them choose the good old family home. Some others choose the good old family home. I like living easy without family ties. Living easy, the whip-on wheel of freedom standing right between the eyes.
John on the Power Network. Let's take a look at your weather in Vilsec. You're looking at snow right now, 30. Snow tonight, 18 for the low. Flurries tomorrow, high of 29. Lodges 63 degrees, mostly cloudy currently. Rain most of the day, low of 62. Tomorrow rain, high of 62. Doha, Qatar, low of 77. Clear and high of 80. It's 82 currently right now in Qatar. Mary McGregor, Blondie, Aretha Franklin, plus the ski report. And good news from Chrysler. 11 minutes after the hour, it's Brothers Johnson and Stomp on AFN Connections.
Keeping you plugged in, we're Connections on AFN.
Raindrops are falling on my head, and just like the guy whose feet are too big for his bed, nothing seems to fit. Those raindrops are falling on my head, they keep falling. So I just did me some talking to the sun, and I said I didn't like the way he got things done, sleeping on the job. Those raindrops are falling on my head, they keep falling. But there's one thing I know, the blues they send to meet me won't defeat me. It won't be long till happiness steps up to greet me. Raindrops keep falling on my head, but that doesn't mean my eyes will soon be turning red. Crying's not for me, 'cause I'm never gonna stop the rain by complaining, because I'm free. Nothing's worrying me. It won't be long till happiness steps up to greet me. Raindrops keep falling on my head, but that doesn't mean my got for me. 'Cause I'm never gonna stop the rain by complaining. Because I'm free, nothing's worrying me.
BJ Thomas, raindrops keep falling on my head. You're listening to Connections. If you're in Germany and northern Italy, it's more like snowflakes keep falling on your head. Connection Ski Report brought to you by the Powder Hound Winter Sports page in the travel section of Stars and Stripes every Thursday. In France, Tignes, France, we're looking at 30 centimeters of hard snow. La Debliere in Switzerland, you're looking at 10 centimeters of packed. Saez-Fay, 60 or 76 centimeters of hard snow. And Zermatt, Switzerland, you're looking at 60 centimeters of packed snow. This is the Connection Ski Report brought to you by the Powder Hound Winter Sports page in the travel section of Stars and Stripes. You can find it there every Thursday, and of course we'll have it for you next week right here on Connections.
DAPS Europe is the agency for document automation and production services. You can turn to DAPS Europe for electronic conversion, output, distribution of digital and hard copy information, including classified and sensitive. Don't have time to stop by? Go to europe.daps.dla.mil. It's easy as click, submit, and track. DAPS receives orders online 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. DAPS, Dodge Document Solutions Provider.
As we travel to and from holiday destinations to enjoy this holiday season with family and friends, it is important for us to stay vigilant with force protection precautions. Never think it can't happen to you. Be smart. Be aware of your surroundings, plan your route before you travel, and always be alert. For current travel warnings, log on to www.travel.state.gov. Stay alert, be cautious, be safe, and have a wonderful holiday season.
A new way to get your news. Connections on AFN.
I was
music takes you back. The reports keep you grounded. Connections on the Power Net.
That's Spanish Harlem from Aretha Franklin. You're listening to Connections. Good news from the States. Chrysler wants to give you gas. The automaker is joining its big three rivals in efforts to move cars out of the showroom before the year end. The number 3 automaker says it will provide free gasoline and scheduled maintenance for 2 years along with its vehicles. If you're in the neighborhood for, I guess, a new car, maybe you want to check this out. It's going on in the States. Ford and General Motors both introduced price-cutting year-end incentives earlier last week. Now let's move on to the good news that will affect all of us. For us here in Europe, gas prices will drop. That's right, I said gas prices will drop an average of 27 cents for regular, mid-grade, and premium. Exchange rates and Maxine Nightingale on the way. You are listening to Connections on the Power Network.
This is AFN Newswatch Update. I'm Gary Balta. The military community could not function without its volunteers. At Incirlik Air Base in Turkey, they are trying to make certain those who volunteer know they are really appreciated.
Incirlik Air Base takes time out to recognize those who give back to the community. Wing Commander Colonel Tip Stinnett surprised one such volunteer at the workplace and lauded her for her efforts. He says volunteerism is central to the mission at Incirlik.
So I got to tell you that one of our goals is to try and match 50% of our population to volunteer opportunities.
Hidden hero, Senior Airman Stacy Moore, tells us why we should help out.
Just get out there and do it. You know, you don't ever have to say, yeah, it's not a weekly thing, it's not a daily thing. You just go when you have time, an hour, half hour, and just go out. It's fun. You get out, you meet some of the different people.
There are countless volunteer opportunities at your base, so get out and give back today. Airman First Class Alex Griffin, Incirlik Air Base, Turkey.
Marine soldiers and Iraqi troops have wrapped up a two-day mission to disrupt insurgent Operations Ramadi. Marine Corporal Christian Winter has more on Operation Bruins.
Coalition troops swept through the northern part of Ramadi over the weekend. They found several weapons caches full of explosives and detonators that insurgents used to make deadly roadside bombs. Officials say insurgents twice attacked Marines during the operation, once with a roadside bomb and another with a rocket-propelled grenade. Operation Bruins is part of ongoing missions in Ramadi to secure the city for next month's national elections. Military officials say attacks against U.S. forces have dropped 60% since the recent operations. Marine Corporal Christian Winter, Washington.
We hope you'll join us for the afternoon edition of Newswatch from 4 to 6 p.m. on this AFN station. I'm Gary Bowdsill reporting. This is the American Forces Network Europe.
That's the trouble around here. Talk, talk, talk.
No mindless chatter.
Oh, sometimes I think I must go mad.
Just information that keeps you connected on AFN PowerNet.
Maxine Nightingale on Connections. Ron White of Blue Collar Comedy Tour. He was in the studio just Wednesday. He's still on tour, touring around Germany. Tonight he'll be in Darmstadt at the Escape Club on Cambrai Fritsch at 8 p.m. They'll be in Sembach tomorrow at 1, Baumholder at 7. You can go to our website to find out more, afneurope.net.
Flush ain't no juice, and you don't stop. Sure shot, go out to the parking lot, and you get in your car and drive real far, and you drive all night, and then you see a light, and it comes right down and lands on the ground, and out comes the man from Mars, and you try to run, but he's got a gun, and he shoots you dead, and he eats your head, and then you're in the man from Mars. You go out at night, eating cars, you eat Cadillacs, Lincolns too, Mercuries and Subaru, and you don't stop. You keep on eating cars. Then, when there's no more cars, you go out at night and eat up bars where the people meet. Face to face, there's cheek to cheek. One to one, man to man, there's toe to toe. Don't move too slow, cause the man from Mars is through with cars. He's eating bars, yeah, wall to wall, door to door, hall to hall. He's gonna eat them all. Rapture, be pure, take a tour through the sword of a strange rain. Pain to train, you'll be singing in the rain. Said don't stop, do punk rock. He won't have a hassle with the human race. And you hip hop and you don't stop, just blast off, sure shot. Cause the man from Mars stopped eating cars and eating bars, and now he only eats guitars. Yeah.
Blondie with the Rapture on AFN Connections. A lot of people say that that song Rapture brought rap into the mainstream. Oh, hey, we have your exchange rates available at your military banking facility. $1 buys 0.8286 euros. That's up about a quarter of a cent. 1.27 Swiss francs, 6.09 Danish krone, and 1 British pound costs $1.77. These rates are good through Monday at your military community banking facilities. Again, the dollar is up against the euro, buying 0.8286 euro. Let's take a look at your money. An abbreviated trading session is on tap for U.S. stocks. The Dow begins from 10,916 after rising 44 points in the latest session. The NASDAQ Composite starts from 2,259 after gaining 6 points on Wednesday. Doors are opening early for many stores in the States to mark the beginning of the holiday shopping season. Walmart is among the chains taking a more aggressive marketing approach to the day after failing to offer deep discounts early last season. Southwest Airlines plans to boost its presence at Philadelphia International Airport next year. By next spring, Southwest expects to lease a dozen gates at the airport, meaning it could double the schedule of 53 flights a day it now has. In Japan, persistent deflation may be coming to an end. The government says Japan's core consumer price index was unchanged in October from the previous year. Finance officials are cautioning it's too early to say whether prices are poised for a sustained rebound. And in Hong Kong, the Walt Disney Company says well over 1 million people have visited Hong Kong Disneyland. The comment amid speculation of disappointing attendance and criticism that the theme park has failed to be adequately transparent about business despite a high level of government investment. You're listening to Connections, still on the way. Some news about the TV show Wife Swap. It's Robert John. What's on the way? John Mellencamp. You're listening to Connections on the Power Network.
to get your news. Connections on AFN.
There are times when a woman has to say what's on her mind, even though she knows how much it's gonna hurt. Before I say another word, let me tell you I love you. Let me hold you close and say these words as gently as I can. There's been another man that I've needed and I've loved, but that doesn't mean I love you less. And he knows he can't possess me, and he knows he never will. There's just this empty place inside of me that only he can fill. Torn between two lovers, feeling like a fool. Loving both of you is breaking all the rules. Torn between two lovers, feeling like a fool. Loving you both is breaking all the rules. You mustn't think you failed me just because there's someone else. You were the first real love I ever had. And all the things I ever said, I swear they still are true. For no one else can have the part of me I gave to you. Torn between two lovers, feeling like a fool. Loving both of you is breaking all the rules. Torn between two lovers, feeling like a fool. Loving you both is breaking all the rules. I couldn't really blame you if you turned and walked away. But with everything I feel inside, I'm asking you to stay. Torn between two lovers, feeling like a fool. Loving both of you is breaking all the rules. Torn between two lovers, feeling like a fool. Loving you both is breaking all the rules. Torn between two lovers, feeling like a fool.
Mary McGregor, torn between two lovers. She really wasn't at the time, but about 2 years later, she did get divorced. A man in Oklahoma is suing the producers of ABC's Wife Swap for $10 million. Jeffrey Bedford, who agreed to be on the show, was upset when his new wife turned out to be a gay man. ABC contends that the agreement signed does specify that the person may be male or female. Bedford says that when he protested, producers threatened not to tell him where his wife was and said they wouldn't pay to have her sent home. They also allegedly told him on several occasions that his wife was leaving him. It's unknown whether the show will air it or not. Do you watch it on Spectrum? It's on Wednesday nights. I'm sorry, but I think a lot of that is just completely staged and over-exaggerated. On Wednesday's edition, one woman was an etiquette teacher, and the other let her kids run around like banshees. It was just totally night and day. The things that happened on that episode, a woman was squirting ketchup all over one of the men. I don't believe it. You're listening to Connections on the Power Network.
Department of Defense dependent schools work hard to ensure that your child receives a quality education while living overseas. To find out more about DOD's Europe programs and curriculum, visit www.eu.dodea.edu. You'll find information about everything from student services and special education to school policies and transportation. Visit www.eu.dodea.edu and learn more about your child's education. DODS, helping communities invest in success for all students.
Keeping you plugged in, we're Connections on AFN.
Little ditty about Jack and Diane, two American kids growing up in the heartland. Jackie gonna be a football star, Diane's debutante backseat of Jackie's car. Sucking on chili dog outside the taste of breeze. Diane sitting on Jackie's lap, got his hands between her knees. Jackie say, hey Diane, let's run off behind the shady trees. Dribble off those Bobby Brooks, let me do what I please. Say, oh yeah, life goes on long after the thrill of living is gone. Say, oh yeah, life goes on long after the thrill of living is gone. To walk on. Jackie sits back, flexes thoughts for the moment, scratches his head and does his best James Dean. Well, then there Diane gotta run off to the city. Diane says, baby, you ain't missing nothing. Jackie say, oh yeah, life goes on long after the thrill of living is gone. Oh yeah, they say life goes on long after the thrill of living is gone. So let it rock, let it roll, let the Bible bell come and save my soul. Hold on to 16 as long as you can. Changes come around real soon, make us women and men. About Jack and Diane, two American kids doing the best they can.
.56 countries, all connected through the Power Network.
Long as I remember, rain been coming down, clouds of mist drift over, confusion on the
AFN Connections, Army Sergeant Brian Ellison here. Gas prices are going down and exchange rates are on their way up. To find out more, stop by our website, afneurope.net. I am out of here. Have a great weekend. What's left of it? Well, 2 days left. Enjoy yourself. May the road rise. See you back here on Monday at 2.
Good afternoon. It's 4 o'clock Central European Time. You're listening to AFN's Evening News Watch. I'm Gary Bautel reporting from our studios in Mannheim, Germany. Gasoline prices in the United States have begun to settle and decrease as gasoline supplies have increased due to both a boost in refinery production and a surge in imports. Jack Morris, AFIS Europe Senior Vice President, said that to minimize the effect of the volatile U.S. market on European customers, AFIS elected to use the averages from the weeks prior to Hurricane Katrina to establish the October and November prices. To establish the December prices, AFIS has returned to the policy of using the Department of Energy's 4-week average ending 21 November 2005. As a result, the December AFIS gas prices will drop by an average of 27 cents a gallon for regular, mid-grade, and premium gas. Residents of Iraq's restive Anbar province say 4 insurgent groups are considering naming a representative to spell out their conditions to Iraqi President Jalal Talabani. They identify the 4 groups as the Islamic Army of Iraq, the 1920 Revolution Brigade, the Mujahideen Army, and the Al-Jama'ah Brigades. But the country's most feared terror organization, Al-Qaeda in Iraq, is not among them. U.S. and Iraqi officials believe their best chance for a negotiated settlement with the insurgency involves driving a wedge between extremists and groups led by members of Saddam Hussein's Ba'ath Party who want a share of power. Insurgents didn't let up just because it was Thanksgiving. A suicide car bomber targeting U.S. troops handing out toys to children at a hospital in central Iraq killed 30 people yesterday, including 4 police guards, 3 women, and 2 children. Here's CBS correspondent Kimberly Dozer with more.
It was one of 2 deadly suicide attacks south of Baghdad, the second hitting a market in Hilla, killing almost a dozen. Amid the violence, however, came word that several Sunni insurgent groups have contacted the Iraqi government asking to talk. Iraq's president has offered them a part in the new Iraq if they lay down their arms.
More European countries are joining in the calls for an investigation into reports the CIA ran covert flights transporting terror suspects in European airspace. CBS correspondent Elaine Cobb reports.
Poland, Portugal and Denmark are just the latest countries to join the long list of unhappy Europeans who are demanding answers. Rumors the CIA used European airports and airspace to transfer terror suspects to secret prisons in Eastern Europe have angered many on the continent. Now Britain, which holds the presidency of the European Union, has agreed to write to Washington looking for clarification. Elaine Cobb, CBS News, Paris.
Your European exchange rate for the dollar-euro, it looks a little better for the dollar, 0.8286. 3 minutes past the hour. Training is one thing, but real-world missions are what it's all about. 3rd COSCOM soldiers can attest to that.
3rd COSCOM is providing logistics support to 5th Corps in Iraq. Brigadier General Rebecca Halstead, the 3rd COSCOM commander, says the soldiers are excited to put their training to use.
Well, morale is really, really good. And when they're out doing missions, it's very, very fulfilling because we know we're making a difference in this country and in this theater.
General Halstead thanks the 3rd COSCOM families for keeping the soldiers motivated.
But I would tell you that they can't do that, and they wouldn't have this high morale if it wasn't for the backing of our families. And in that regard, I could not say enough good things.
Good training plus strong families adds up to a winning combination for the 3rd COSCOM. Army Private Anthony Scroggins, AFN News.
Germany's new foreign minister will visit the United States next week to try to help the 2 countries intensify their relations. AFN's Leo Ortiz has that story.
Germany's foreign minister Frank-Walter Steinmeier will travel to New York Monday and meet with UN Secretary General Kofi Annan and representatives of Jewish groups. On Tuesday, he'll meet in Washington with Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice, her deputy, and National Security Advisor Stephen Hadley. The trip comes just a week after Chancellor Angela Merkel's government took office. Merkel has underlined the importance of transatlantic ties, saying that relations with Washington can be developed further. Next week's talks could include discussion of developments in the Middle East and worries about Iran's nuclear program. For AFN News, I'm Leah Ortiz.
And in your weather watch for tomorrow, north and central Europe, mostly cloudy with snow showers from the UK to the northern part of Spain, 30s and 40s in the forecast highs. Italy will have snow and cloudy skies in the north. And that's our report. Gary Bautzell reporting.
It's tough being an NCO. There's a lot of things to remember. The USER Standard Card provides a clear guide to all your NCO duties and responsibilities.
The USER Standard Card states what we expect of NCOs in U.S. Army Europe. Any mission, anywhere.
Give the gift of groceries with commissary gift certificates. They're valid around the world, and you can donate them to agencies who help military families. Learn more about gift certificates at commissaries.com.
If you're a reserve component member, you and your family may be eligible for transitional TRICARE health coverage as you shift from active duty to civilian life. To learn more about your benefits, contact your TRICARE Service Center.
You wouldn't drive with a blindfold on. So why would you think of driving while talking on your mobile phone? It's not only silly, it's illegal in most European countries.
AFN Evening News Watch team is on the air every weekday afternoon gathering world, national, and military headlines. Tune into the Power Network every weekday afternoon from 4 to 6. See how what's happening in the world affects you.
Don't let this happen to you. Call the AFN Trouble Line, 49621-460-85444.
Coming up on America's Next Top Model, a lesson in posing also becomes a lesson in keeping your composure. And composures break down when Kim and Bree's feud comes to a head.
Wednesday, 8 p.m., AFN Spectrum.
Cover aircraft. We shoot them off the front of the ship and we retrieve them on the back.
Well clear.
Flight deck is dangerous at all times.
I've cornered off the line, so stand well clear.
Lifting 310 spot 3, stand well clear.
Roger, ball.
Keep your head on the swivel, keep your eyes open, keep your head up, you'll be all right. People can't believe we can take the ship the size of 3 football fields and launch and recover aircraft as safely as we do.
Last year, The Biggest Loser inspired a nation.
You have changed my life, Tilly. I'm so proud of you.
The Biggest Loser returns with bigger challenges and one big twist.
It's men versus women.
But from the doctor, the cop, and the bride-to-be, it will change their lives forever.
You believed in me when I didn't believe in myself, and I just want to say thank you.
The 90-minute premiere of The Biggest Loser, 8 p.m. AFN Prime tonight.
The music takes you back.
The reports keep you grounded. Connections.
Insurgent groups in Iraq are reportedly considering reaching out to Iraqi leaders. Residents of Anbar province say 4 insurgent groups are considering naming a representative to spell out their conditions to Iraqi President Jalal Talabani, but Al-Qaeda is not among them. It and 2 other Islamic extremist groups are believed to have staged many suicide attacks. U.S. and Iraqi officials believe their best chance for a negotiated settlement of the insurgency involves driving a wedge between extremists and groups led by members of Saddam Hussein's Ba'ath Party, who want a share of power. Taking a look now at the latest news in the war on terror. A suicide bomber blew up his car outside a hospital south of Baghdad while U.S. troops handed out candy and food to children, killing 30 people and wounding about 40 others, including 4 Americans. Meanwhile, 2 U.S. soldiers died when their patrol struck an improvised explosive device on a road southwest of Baghdad. And elsewhere, quick cooperation by law enforcement. Officials in 4 European countries and the U.S. seem to have stopped a terrorist cell of 14 Muslims spanning from Bosnia to Britain who appear to have been planning a suicide attack in Europe or America. The investigation is still underway, but police in Sarajevo found a suicide bomber belt and a video of masked men asking for forgiveness for the sacrifice they were about to commit. An Austrian lawmaker is accusing U.S. intelligence of running a covert airline he mockingly calls Kidnap Air. An opposition politician wants an investigation into allegations that the CIA has been transporting terror suspects over Austria. Austria's Air Force commander said a CIA transport plane suspected of carrying terrorist suspects flew over the country on its way to a Central Asian nation in 2003. Another lawmaker has demanded that a formal protest be filed with President Bush when Austria's chancellor visits Washington next month. They're back. The unit in Hanau has finally returned from deployment. Army Corporal Shannon Lott tells us how the community welcomed them, how they feel about being back, and what's next on the agenda.
The U.S. flag was flying high and proud as it looked down on the soldiers who returned from serving their country. 1 year has gone and passed.